Chapter 2 of Preeti Arora, that is Python Programming Fundamentals. In this video, we are going to discuss the following topics, so please don't skip the video and watch it till the end. So in the previous video, we have discussed about the two modes of interacting with Python, that is interactive mode and the script mode. So Python codes are referred to as scripts, which is nothing but a sequence of definitions and commands. So before moving further, first we must understand about the syntax of Python. Now, what do you mean by syntax? So syntax is a set of rules that defines how users and the system should write and interpret a Python program. So now let us talk about the smallest element of a Python script, that is nothing but a token. A token is the smallest element of a Python script that is meaningful to the interpreter. So these are the categories of tokens. Now, what do you mean by keywords? The keywords are the reserved words of Python which have a special meaning for the interpreter, and no keywords can be used as an identifier. Now, the identifiers are the names of any variable, constant, functions or module in an identifier. For example, the identifier's name can be ABC, DEF, whatever you want, but it should follow some set of rules which we will discuss in the next slide. Now, literals, a fixed numeric or non-numeric value is called a literal. For example, literals can be 2, -2.6 or any strings you want. And operators are a symbol or any word that performs some kind of operation on given values. For example, these plus, minus, multiplication and division are all operators. And now what do you mean by delimiters? So delimiters are the symbols which can be used as separators of values or to enclose some values. We will cover this in the upcoming chapters. So in order to create identifiers, there are some set of rules to be followed. So first rule will be identifiers can only have alphanumeric characters, that is, it can contain alphabets from A to Z or numbers from 0 to 9, and even underscores are also allowed. And the second rule is that the first character of an identifier can only contain alphabets, that is, it can contain alphabets from A to Z or underscore but not numbers. And identifiers are case sensitive. For example, this name and this capital N name are two different identifiers, and the keywords are not allowed to be used as identifiers, as we have already discussed this. And no special characters such as the semicolon, white spaces and all those stuff are not allowed for identifiers. And here is a table for your understanding. Here X is an identifier, whereas print is keyword, and plus is an operator, and this numbers or comes under literals, and this Python is a literal which is called as string literals, and this is a delimiter. So this is just for your reference. Now let us talk about commands. So commands are statements in a script that are ignored by the Python interpreter. It normally starts with the as symbol. So what is the use of commands? Commands are used to make the code more readable and understandable. Normally commands are not necessary in a script, but these are highly recommended if the script is too complex or if it is to be reviewed by multiple people over an interval of time. So I will show how it works in the upcoming slides. So our second topic in this video is variables and types. Variable is like a container that stores values that can access or change. So it can vary during the execution of a program. In Python, every element is called as an object. So variables are also called as objects. So variable stores the value in the computer memory. So for example, when I type x equal to 20, so here variable x has been given a value 20, which is stored inside the memory location with the name x. So I am getting the value as 20. In Python programming language, data types are inbuilt, and unlike in C++, declaration of variables is not required, and memory management is automatically done by Python. Whatever values we assign to variables, the data type of the variable will be the same as the data type of the value. Hence, it is said that Python supports dynamic typing. This is dynamic typing. So, suppose x equal to 10, y equal to 20, z equal to x plus y. So when I type x, I am getting the value as 20 because here x is 10 and y is 20. Z is nothing but x plus y, which is 10 plus 20 is 30. That's why I am getting the value like this. So if you want to know the type of a particular variable, you can use a built-in function called type. Here type of x is int because I am assigning the value as 10. Type of y is string here. And type of z is float. So it's an easy way to find the type of a particular variable if you want. So this can also be done in script mode. For that you need to open a new file, that is file, new file, and now you can type your code here. So x equal to 3 and y equal to 4 and z equal to x plus y and z equal to z plus 1 and x equal to y and y equal to 5. So now I am printing the values. So x equal to x and print and now I am printing the value of z. So now let me explain you this code first. So x starts with value 3 and y starts with value 4. So which means in line 3 a variable called z is created and equals to x plus y. So z is nothing but 7. Now the z value got incremented by 1. So the z value is 8 now. And next x is changed to the current value of y, which is 4. And finally y is changed to 5. Note that this does not affect x. So in the end x is 4, y is 5 and z will be 8. Now let us see the output. Now save this file and run this. See, now we got the output as x equal to 4, y equal to 5 and z equal to 8. So this is an example of script mode. So a variable has three main components: identity of a variable, type of a variable and the value of a variable. So now let us talk about identity of a variable. So now identity of a variable refers to the object's address in the memory, which does not change once it has been created. The address of an object can be checked using the method id. So for example, now I am assigning x equal to 10, and if you want to know the address of that particular variable, you can use id function. So this large number is nothing but address of memory location storing value 10. So type of a variable. Type of a variable is nothing but data type of a variable. Each value is an object and has a data type associated with it. So data type in Python can be classified as follows. So numbers, none, sequence, sets, mappings. Now we will concentrate on numbers. So number data type stores numerical values. Python supports three types of built-in numerical data types, that is integer, floating point numbers and complex numbers. Now what do you mean by integer? Integer represents whole numbers without any fractional part. They can be positive or negative and have unlimited size in Python. So numbers like 3, 10, 15, minus 10, minus 15, these are all integer data types. And floating point numbers. Floating point numbers denote real numbers or floating point values. So floating point numbers are written with decimal point that separates the integer from the fractional numbers. So for example, 3.14 and 6.29, these are all floating point numbers. And Python provides one special data type called as complex numbers. Complex numbers in Python are made up of pairs of real and imaginary numbers. They take the form of x plus yj. So now we'll be discussing this with examples in the upcoming slides. Now we will see the examples of integer, floating point and complex data types. Now x equal to 10, type of x is int, and y equal to 4.5, type of y will be float. Same way x equal to 2, x equal to 2 plus 5j. Here type of z will be complex. These are all the examples of integer, floating point and complex data types. Here x is integer data type and y is float data type and z is complex data type. Now let us talk about string data type. A string is a sequence of characters that can be a combination of letters, numbers and special characters enclosed within quotation marks. It can be either single or double quotes or triple quotes, whatever you want. So for example, now I am giving str equal to Python. Now if I am trying to print that str variable, I am getting the word Python. So another data type is Boolean. Boolean data type represents one of the two possible values, either true or false. Any expression which can be true or false as the data type bool. For example, a equal to 10 less than 1. Now if I am trying to print the value of a, I will get false because 10 is not less than 1. So I am getting the value as false. So if suppose b equal to 10 greater than 1, now if I am trying to print the value of b, I will get it as true because 10 is greater than 1. This is another type of another data type called as Boolean data type. There is a special kind of data type called as none in Python. So it is used to signify the absence of value or condition evaluating to false in a situation. So Python does not display anything when we give a command to display the value of a variable containing value as none. So for example, I am giving the value of a as 10 and b as none. Now if I try to display the value of a, I will get it as 10. For b, I am getting nothing. Now if I try to print the value of b with print function, I will be getting it as none. This is the basic difference. So we have covered identity of a variable and type of a variable. Now we are going to learn about value of a variable. So to bind value to a variable, we use assignment operator. So which means x equal to 10. In assignment statement, the variable that is receiving the value must appear on the left side of the equal to operator, or else we will get an error message. For example, 10 equal to x. See, we are getting an error, that is cannot assign to literal. So when we assign x equal to 10, which means 10 is getting stored in x. So there should be one and only one variable on the left hand side of the assignment operator. This variable is called the left value or the L value. There can be any valid expression on the right hand side of the assignment operator. So this expression is called the right value or R value. So here 10 is the R value and x is the L value. R value can even be an expression. So for example, x equal to 1 plus 3 plus 5. Here left hand side is a expression. Once if I, so now I am getting the value of x as 9, because once after evaluating this expression, the value gets stored in the x. So in Python, we can declare multiple variables in a single statement. So multiple assignments in Python can be done in two ways. First one is assigning multiple values to multiple variables. So for example, a, b, c equal to 10, 20, 30. If I am trying to print the value of a, I am getting it as 10. For b, it's 20, and for c, it's 30, which means 10 is stored in A and 20 is stored in B and 30 is stored in C. So the second way is assigning same value to multiple variables, which means A equal to B equal to C equal to 10. Now if I try to print the value of A, I am getting 10, B I am getting 10, and for C I am getting 10. So the same value 10 is stored in all the three variables. So this is all about multiple assignments. So now we are going to discuss our next topic, that is keywords in Python. So as we already know that keywords are the reserved words used by Python interpreter to recognize the structure of a program. So suppose if you want to display the list of keywords, you can print the following commands. So import keyword, which means you are importing that keyword library, and if you want to print the elements of that particular library, you can use your dot operator for that. So keyword dot kw list. So these are all the keywords. So now we are going to talk about expressions. An expression is a combination of values, that is constant, variable and operators. So operands contains the value that an operator uses, and operators are the special symbols which represent simple calculations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, etc. So now for example, 5 plus 10 into 30. This is an expression because it contains both operands as well as operators. Here 5, 10, 30 are operands, and plus and multiplication signs are operators. So now we are going to talk about operators. So what do you mean by operators? Operators are special symbols which represent computation. So they are applied on operands, which can be values or variables, as we had already discussed. So operators, when applied on operands, form an expression. So operators are classified as arithmetic, relational, logical and assignment operators. Now let us see about arithmetic operators. So So minus operator and multiplication operator. Now it's division. There's another operator called as modulus operator, which will return as the remainder of that particular operation. So it's returning the remainder. And one more operator, it's an exponential operator, and this is integral division. So as you know that plus is for addition, minus is for subtraction, multiplication, this is for multiplication, and this is for division. And this percentage operator is nothing but remainder or modulo operator. This will give us the remainder. And this double star is for exponentiation, and double slash is for integer division. That is, it will not include the decimal parts. This plus can also be used as concatenation operator for strings. For example, now A equal to Python and B equal to is a string. Now I can add A plus B. So I am getting Python is a string. So if you want space, you can give it as Python plus and space plus B. Yeah, now you are getting Python is a string. So this is an example of concatenation operator. So now we are going to talk about relational operators. Relational operators are used for comparing two expressions and results in either true or false. So for example, 10 less than 20. It's returning true because 10 is less than 20. If 10 greater than 20, it's returning false. And other examples are 10 less than or equal to 20. This is true. Equal to means it will also include 20. But if 10 less than 20 in this expression, it will not include 20. But whereas in this expression, 10 less than or equal to 20 means it will include 20 as well. So now 10 greater than or equal to 30, it's returning false. And there is also one more operator called as not operator. 10 not equal to 20. It's true because 10 is not equal to 20. If you give it as 10 not equal to 10 is false. And there is an equal to operator. 10 double equal to 20. It's false. But 10 double equal to 10 is true. When the relational operators are applied to strings, strings are compared left to right, character by character based on their ASCII codes or values. So now I am trying to compare two strings. For example, hello. So strings should be given in codes. So hello less than hello. It's false, because lowercase values will be having higher ASCII values. Now I am trying to hello less than hello. So now I am getting it as true. So now we are going to discuss about the next topic, that is user input. So while writing a program, we need to fetch some important information or some input from the user. The values inputted by the user are fetched and stored in the variables. So this can be done with the help of input function. So I will show this with an example. So A equal to input, enter your name. So it's asking for your name. So I am just giving it as Python. Now if I try to print A, I will get I will get Python. So this input function is not highly recommended by programmers since it always accepts input in the form of strings and hence manipulates numbers as strings only and does not generate the desired result. So for example, I'll show this with an example. A equal to input, enter the number, and now I'm entering number. So B equal to input, enter the second number. So now it's asking me for the second number. If I try to print A plus B, I'll be getting like this because it's considering A and B as strings. If you want to get integer from the user, then you can use int function for that. So that can be done with A equal to int, A equal to int input, enter the number. So I'm giving it as 10. Now B equal to int input, enter the number. So now I am giving it as 20. If I try to print the addition of, if I try to add two numbers, now I'll get 30. Now we are going to use eval function. So this function is used to evaluate the value of a string. Here it takes a string as an argument, evaluates this string as a number and returns a numeric result. So for example, A equal to eval 50 plus 10. Now if I try to print the value of A, I am getting 60. Here inside this bracket, it's considering it as a string, but it's returning the result in a numeric format. So till now we were discussing about predefined functions. So we can also create our own functions with the help of diff keyword. So we'll discuss this in the upcoming chapters. So now we are going to cover one small topic, that is shorthand assignment operators. So it's nothing but is a combination of binary operation and assignment. So for example, x equal to 10 and x plus equal to 20. If I am trying to print the value of x, I will be getting it as 30, which is nothing but this second line states that x equal to x plus 20. So we know the value of x is 10. So x equal to 10 plus 20 will be 30. So other operators are x minus equal to 10. So for x value is 20 and x star equal to 10. This is nothing but x equal to x into 10. And for x divide equal to 10. So this is nothing but x equal to x by 10. This is also applicable for exponentiation operator. So this is x 10. Now this is also applicable for modulus operator, that is x mod equal to 20. So I am getting this. So this is called as shorthand assignment operator. This will be useful in some complicated programs.